Shy returns.
The Shy returns.
The Shy returns.
Yeah, the Shy returns.
The Shy returns.
The Shy returns.
The Shy returns.
The Shy returns today.
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 It's today.
Only on Paramount Plus with a Showtime plan.
I got this.
We gon' land. I never should have sent a boy to do a woman's job.
If I rule the world.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love The Shy, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we're going to be talking about The Shy Season 6, Episode 9. This is the recap. Now, I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points that we saw in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. So what do y'all think about your boy Emmett? What will he do? Will he really try to take down Alicia to save his own life, or will he still go up against Duda? He has a very difficult choice, and I'm eager to see how he's going to end up figuring this out. But man, Duda has a lot of enemies, y'all. A whole lot of enemies. I mean, the people that's working with him, they don't even like him like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to pull through, if he's even able to do so, especially with Alicia on his back. I want to know what other tricks that Duda has up his sleeve. As I told you guys, I do not trust Bianca at all. Don't be surprised if she ends up switching up and if her loyalty is really with Duda. But we're going to find out soon enough. I mean, as these episodes air out, we'll get a better feel on how these characters are going to move. But a lot happened in this episode, so I'm going to begin the recap. As I told you guys, I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. So what did we see in The Shy Season 6, Episode 9, titled The Aftermath? Now, the episode starts out right where we left off. We know Victor was going to look for Duda, and that's exactly what he does, but we know he does not find him. Instead, he runs into Bakari, and Bakari is like, man, so you really going to take him out? And Victor is like, yeah, like he's trying to get him up out of here, right? Now, Bakari does tell him, well, if you do that, that means you're going to become him. So maybe you should be thinking about that. I mean, Victor ain't playing around, but as I told you guys, he has to choose what type of lifestyle that he wants to live. I mean, I understand taking out Duda, you believe that's going to, eliminate all your problems. But as Bakari stated, it is not going to be that easy. And Victor cannot afford to slip up, especially being a part of city council. I mean, he has a lot on his plate. Now, we get to Smokey's. We know Jake is in there trying to get some free food. And then out of nowhere, a car pulls up. Now, I told you guys in that trailer, I was thinking that maybe Emmett was in his head, but no, Emmett was not in his head. It was the real drive-by. And Zay, he did this, and this was supposed to be like warning shots or whatever, trying to scare Emmett and let him know. Duda knows that he was the one to try to take him out. Now, we know Emmett was very upset and pissed off. He went back to the house. That boy was looking like Malcolm X staring out that window. It was crazy because this picture came out about a month ago or whatever, and I was thinking the exact same thing. Your girl Keisha, she called him out, telling him, get away from that window. He over there looking like Malcolm X. We know the two go back and forth in an argument, and your boy Emmett, he was going off. I mean, he's stressed out. He feels like Keisha's all over his back, but Keisha is very afraid. She's afraid, and she's worried that something bad is going to happen, so it makes all the sense in the world that these two are going to be arguing because this is very serious. Now, Emmett, of course, is telling her everything's going to be good. He's going to take care of everything like he always does, right? Well, we going to see. All I know is this. It ain't going to be easy. And as long as Duda is breathing, Emmett will always have to look over his shoulder. So these two, they flat out scared. And that's exactly what they end up saying in this particular scene. Now, Duda learns that Zay shot up Smokey's and he's pissed off. Like, really? You're going to shoot up one of my, businesses? Like, what are you doing? I mean, I guess Zay was not thinking, but he said he did not hit anybody, so they good. Your boy Bakari was very upset. Like, are you crazy? Like, Papa was working. That's my family. And he started walking off. Duda told him to sit his $5 ass down before he make change. That boy is on his Nino Brown type vibes up in this episode. Zay was up there laughing. He thought it was all funny. And we know they was talking about that the person that got shot is still out there. They're thinking that it's Rob. So Duda's like, man, How about we check the hospitals and finish the job? So that's exactly what they end up trying to do, but we know that did not play out the way they wanted it to. Now we know Nuck was telling Bakari, we your family and all that stuff, and we know that Duda was telling them like, look, anybody that tries to take me out and they fail, I want you guys to take them out quickly as possible. Then we get to your boy Rob, and we know Rob, he slipped up, he got popped, he's recovering, he's at the hospital, but he needs to get out the hospital because we know Nuck is on his way to finish him off. Now, we get to Emmett and his pops Darnell, and y'all know Darnell, he wants to protect his son at all costs, and he tells Emmett that he must convince Duda that he's worth more alive than he is dead, which is a very good idea. We know Emmett does use this idea, and Emmett, he is tired of running. He's like, look, man, it's time to handle this. I'm not playing around with this guy. I have to, figure out what I need to do to protect me and my family. Now, Nuck, if you're a buck, he goes to the hospital. He is trying to find Rob. He is trying to finish the job. But luckily, Rob is up out of there, right? And we know they end up getting Rob back home. Alicia, she got money. So she's going to make sure that her son has the best treatment, the best everything in order for him to be able to survive. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And we also know that Tiffany is with her. Now, we get back to Smokey's. Emmett is cleaning up. And we know that Jada, she's very concerned about her son. Now, Emmett does tell her the full truth that he tried to take down Duda and it did not play out. She is crying. She's upset. And she's worried that something very bad is going to happen to her son. Now, Darnell, he is plotting and planning, in my opinion. He already gave Emmett the advice as far as trying to talk to Duda and prove that he's worth more alive than he is dead. But the camera angle, in my opinion, tells all. Darnell has already went to Duda in part 1 of season 6, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go back or at least try something else because he wants to protect his son at all costs. Now, Papa is having a conversation with Bakari. He was upset because he's like, man, I could have got taken out, and we know Bakari tells him he had nothing to do with that, and we know Papa was telling him, why don't he just leave this street stuff alone? Well, it ain't that easy, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Bakari tells him. He can't just walk away because we know he has to suffer those consequences. And Duda, he ain't playing around. So just like anybody else that does business with Duda, they have to figure out a very, very smart way in order to get up under him. Now, Nuck If Your Buck tells Duda that he was not able to get Rob. His name was on the list at the hospital, so they know he was up in there. Now, Duda is not trying to hear any of that. He tells them that they need to go back and find Rob, find Tiffany, and see if she's, at the hospital walking around somewhere. Now, we end up learning that Bakari's sister Brittany is in business with Duda, and we know he is paying her to be a spy to look out for Bakari and make sure they know exactly what he's up to. But apparently, Brittany ain't doing that for real. She's too busy kicking it with Gemma, and Duda, he ain't having it. He tells Zay to make sure that she's, kicking it more with Bakari and having less time with Gemma. So we gonna see how that all plays out. I knew Brittany could not be trusted. We already knew she was up to no good and she was involved in business with somebody very bad. Now, we get to Bakari and Emmett. Papa is there as well. We know Emmett needs some help. He is trying to take down Duda, and we know that Bakari is like, man, I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? You took your shot, you slipped up. This man wants you up out of here. Now, Bakari was about to just walk off, and Emmett was like, look, I fed you when you didn't have anything. I looked out for you. So, of course, he feels like Bakari owes him a favor, and he tells Bakari, who in Duda's crew wants him up out of there just as much as I do. And Bakari had to think, and this is where we see Bakari have a conversation with Nuck If Your Buck, because we know deep down inside, Nuck does not want to be working with Duda for real. He is just doing it just like everybody else, but you can tell the way that Nuck been acting that he wants to move differently. So we know Bakari was trying to test him and see if maybe he will slip up, but Nuck, he's like, nah, you know what I'm saying? What else we gonna do? And he tells him that everybody's dreams cannot come true, because we know Bakari asked him, does he want anything else for himself? Nuck was talking about he used to or whatever, but that's not going to happen. So we're going to see. I'm going to tell you right now, Nuck, he is a character that we have to watch out for. And we know everybody that's working with Duda, deep down inside, they don't want to work for him for real, right? Now, we get to Brittany and Zay is telling her that she needs to get more intel on Bakari. And she's telling him she needs some more money because she's basically spent most of it because of the whole Gemma thing. And Zay is telling her like, okay, well, I can see what I can do and get, as far as getting her some more money, but she has to get intel on Bakari first. Now, we get to Jake and Zay. Now, Jake has made a very big mistake. I made a video about this a week ago talking about this storyline. Jake knows better. You know this dude is connected with Duda and you still make that move with him. You end up taking some money, from this guy, and we know when you make investments with Duda, you already know what time it is. You're tied in and it's going to be very difficult to get out. Just ask everybody that's done it. But as I told you guys, if anybody knows better, it is Jake. He has seen it firsthand. He's even lived with Duda, so he understands how risky this is. But he wants that money. He wants to be successful, and apparently he thinks this is the best way for him to do that. Now, we get to your boy Victor and Fatima. She pissed off. She's like, where were you at? Like, you disappeared last night, and she understands he was out there doing some criminal activity, and basically she does not want him being the killer and messing up his life. Victor tells her, once a killer, always a killer, and he was not lying. This man is already a body catcher. You know what I'm saying? We know who Victor really is. Treg, don't play around for real. But as I told you, you cannot be in both lifestyles. You have to be legit or you have to be about that street life. And we can see it's catching up to him. And mentally, he ain't all the way there, but he knows that he has to handle this. The sad thing is Fatima's like, look, I'm not messing around with you because I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's out there catching bodies. And she ends up walking off. Now, we get to Tracy and Deja, and man, they was having a good old time. Tracy is telling Deja that she needs to go on this single journey with her and all that stuff and just be kicking it, relaxing. They was getting real close up on that couch, but I think they were just, having fun. But for a moment, it seemed like Tracy was about to make a move, but it does seem like they're just friends. We know that Rashad, he messed up with Deja, and, Deja's pissed off that he was sleeping around with Tierra. Now, we get to the studio. Maisha, she has another track that she's working on, and they end up inviting Brittany in the booth, and they was actually in there cooking. They was doing a good job working together, and it seemed like everything was going quite well. Now, Maisha, she wanted to get something to eat, but we know Gemma and Brittany said that they good. They're going to call it a night, but they still went out and, got something to eat together without Maisha, and y'all know Maisha was upset, like, really? Like, I just asked him if that's what they wanted to do, but they played her, right? And it seemed like everything was good, but they still acting kind of funny. So it makes sense why Maisha felt some type of way about that. Now, we get to Zay and your boy Emmett. They're talking about Duda. We know things ain't well, but Emmett, he got the gift of gab. He's telling Zay like, look, man, Duda needs me for business purposes. I'm the one that's running Smokies. Can't none of you street cats do what I do. And he was not lying at all. I know Zay was kind of upset and Emmett, was pissing him off. Zay even pulled out the strap and was acting like he was going to take out Emmett. But, Emmett told him, you can't do that because you do not have Duda's approval, right? And for a moment, it kind of seemed like Emmett wanted Zay to get Duda up out of here. And we know that Zay, he wants to be the next Duda. I mean, that's what he wants to be. So it wasn't like Emmett was lying, but we know Zay told him, Duda, he wants you dead, so ain't nothing gonna work. But Emmett told him he is not hard to find. He is basically trying to set up a meeting with Duda, and he told Zay that he is tired of running. Now, Alicia, she finally meets Keisha, and this scene was funny because we know the history with Keisha, Emmett, and of course Tiffany, and we know Alicia was like, man, so y'all always messing around with each other? Like, what the hell is going on up in here, right? And we know Emmett, he was kind of upset because he's like, man, y'all just putting all my business out there about my kids and all the people that I messed around with. So he wasn't really feeling it. Now, your boy Rob, he does come out. He is recovering and he has made it. That is good. He was not able to take down Duda. So we already know Alicia, she's going to have to be the one that gets the job done. Now, we get to Zay and Duda. Zay goes to Duda and tells him that Emmett is worth more alive than he is dead. Pretty much using the same pitch that Emmett told him. And Duda understands that Emmett ended up getting to Zay. And he chokes this man out like Jody on Baby Boy. He was pissed off. And Zay's like, look, man, I'm just doing what you told me to do to be smarter And we know Duda, he wasn't really trying to hear that because he's like, look, where were you at? You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing Emmett asked him. Where were you at when Duda was getting shot at? We know Zay told Duda that he was taking a meeting or whatever, but Duda's like, man, I know you ain't trying to set me up, but he does end up agreeing with Zay. He lets him go, and he's going to end up meeting up with Emmett, and it seemed like the game plan that Emmett got worked. Now, we get to Bianca, and she comes over to have a conversation with Alicia, but she has a conversation with Tiffany first, and they end up talking business, and she ends up smoking some of that weed that Tiffany got and tells her maybe she can spread it out at her spot in order to get Tiffany some more clientele. Now, I don't trust Bianca at all. I always told you guys this. I think maybe she might be up to something, and I believe her loyalty will be tested because she's going to be loyal to Duda or your girl Alicia, and we know she owes her that favor, and that's exactly what Alicia asked her about that favor. She's ready to cash it in. So you guys let me know down below. Do you guys believe that Bianca would go through with the game plan, or will she end up switching up on Alicia when it's all said and done? We get to Keisha and her mom Nina, and man, Dre, y'all. Dre said, you know what? I'm about to kick it with my ex. I'm still in love with my ex, and that's who I'm going to be with. I know a lot of the fans was asking about Dre because they did not see her in the trailer and they wanted to know what happened. Well, in my opinion, I'm trying to figure out if it's because that she's in another show. We know the actor that plays Dre is in Power Book 4 Force, and she plays Stacey Marks, but they film around the same location, but we know she's in that show a lot. You know what I'm saying? We know Bakari, he plays Marshall in Power Book 4 Force, so he's in both shows as well. Now, he's not in the show as much as Stacey Marks' character. In my opinion, I would not be surprised that she had to be in that show a little bit more, so maybe she did not have a lot of time to film The Shy. Now, I could be completely wrong, but you know what I'm saying? It makes some sense. Y'all let me know down below. But this scene was very sad because Nina, she just wants some love, right? Luckily, Keisha was there to support her moms. I mean, it is sad. Kevin is gone. Of course, Dre done left her, so she's going to be very sad this season, in my opinion. Then we get to Gemma and Tiara, and of course, Gemma needs some advice, and she will be getting some advice from Tiara, the same Tiara that let Rashad hit. Now, Tiara does tell Gemma that she's young, she should explore some of the things that she likes or whatever and figure out if that's what she really likes, because we know that Gemma kissed Brittany, right? So Gemma is going back and forth in her head as far as does she want to tell Jake, which we know that's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure Jake will be very upset once he learns this news. And speaking of Jake, he has a conversation with his brother Victor. Victor tells him you're stupid for making any type of moves with anybody that's connected to Duda, but it seems like Jake thinks he has it all under control, and he's not really trying to listen to his brother at all. But we already know he's going to suffer some very negative consequences. Now Jake is all in his phone, and he's looking at other girls on social media, having a good old time, sliding up in DMs. I mean, he about to take advantage of this. I'm going to tell you that right now. Now, Papa has a very interesting conversation with Maisha. They're talking about success and what they want in the future. And it seemed like the two had a moment. Papa wants his queen in the future, and the look that he gave Maisha makes it seem like Maisha may end up being that girl. But we know that Kevin, he ended up texting Maisha, so she had to go. But you can just feel that chemistry in the air between the two, and I'm eager to see how this storyline is going to go in the second part of the season. Now, Jake decided not to show up to the group because he was too busy worried about money. We know the boys end up talking about Coogie because we know Bakari had a dream about him in the last episode. And then out of nowhere, your boy Emmett is like, you know what? I gotta go. I need to go talk to Duda. He has something to get off his chest. He believes he can figure it out. So that's exactly what he ended up doing. And we know Duda was not playing around. He believes that Emmett was the one that set him up, especially since Emmett was the one to call him and asked him about the meetup. Of course, Emmett is denying it, talking about you ain't got no proof and all that stuff. Duda told him, give me one reason why I should not take you out right now. Of course, Emmett tells him, I'm worth more alive than I am dead. And, you know, they're going back and forth. The game plan that Emmett had, it ended up working. And Duda said, you know what? You talking about you're going to do anything, you know, in order for me to spare your life? Well, let's see. He tells Emmett he wants him to take down, or at least help take down, Alicia, and gives him that picture. He said, if you do this, then I will spare you your life. So now Emmett has another task at hand. This is crazy, y'all. I don't know what Emmett is going to do, and even if he does get it done, I want to know how he's going to do it, because we know that Alicia and Duda, they hate each other, and Emmett does want Duda out the picture, but to be honest, Alicia, she may be worse than Duda. Rob has already talked about this. He said that his mom's makes Duda look like a saint. Well, we're going to find out. I think the second half of the show, we're going to see just how powerful and dangerous Alicia is, and if she really is more dangerous than Duda, right? So I can't wait to see it. Now, we'll continue to talk more about The Chi Season 6. I'm going to break down the trailer once they release it, and we're going to talk more about some more storylines and prepare for the next upcoming episode. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.